When decorating for the holiday season, I decided to set some things aside that I knew we weren't going to use. As we evolve, our sense of style and holiday decorations can evolve with us. But not these. I hated those stockings. So instead of letting our storage areas overflow with decorations every year, I've decided to declutter at the beginning and end of every holiday season. We've enjoyed most of this stuff for several seasons, and now it's time to pass them along to someone else. Decluttering is so important, it's like regular maintenance for your household, even if you only do it once a week, once a month, or once a year. Today I'm filling up a box of clutter, and this time it's all baby stuff. We tried these sippy cups for a while and our son just wasn't a big fan, so we moved on to something else. Plus, after dropping them a few times, we ended up having a couple of cracked bottles, and that's why we have this extra lid. A lot of these things weren't used very long, like these baby spoons. We didn't personally like them, and so we found something different. We've been saving all this stuff for when we would have more kids in the future, and my thought process was, why buy things again later when we can save what we have and use it again? And now that I've been decluttering and we have another baby on the way, it's time to let go of the things I know we won't use again. Most of the things in this box just did not work for our first son, and I don't expect them to work for our second either. And now that we're second-time parents, we actually have preferences, and I'd like to stick with what we prefer. My rule of one box in, one box out is still going strong, and with a new baby on the way, that means we're going to have a lot of diaper boxes to fill. So make sure to stick around because there's going to be a lot of clutter to get rid of. Another donation day, and my mom came to the rescue. We had a pretty big mishap in our basement with water leaking all over from the kitchen upstairs. By the time we realized what was going on, there were already so many damages, so that meant it was time to buckle down and get all the clutter out that we could. Especially now that we have to do some repairs in the basement and the kitchen, I really don't want all this extra junk laying around, so stay tuned for more clutter. We have another empty diaper box, so it's time to declutter things that don't make sense for us to keep. I hate these rags, and I always have. They just feel gross, and they hold on to so much gunk. My husband was gifted a brand new alarm clock, so we're getting rid of his old one, which still works perfectly fine. All of these items are still very functional, we just don't need them around the house. I would much rather let things go that we just don't utilize anymore than let them take up wasted space in our home. I'm also not a big fan of souvenirs. We got these dolphins on our honeymoon, but they just don't provide any value because they only take up space. As we declutter, it's so important to remember that not everything holds value. We didn't have an ice maker for a long time, but now we do, so we don't really need these ice cube trays. Some might think this would be sentimental because I've had it since I was a kid, but we just don't use it anymore, so there's no point in keeping it. Just remember, there's no right or wrong way to decluttering as long as you're making progress and you feel good while doing it. I finally got fed up with all the extra food storage containers, so I'm filling a box with a bunch to get rid of. And actually, my 2-year-old son is filling the box for me. I guess if he wants to help, it's never too early to teach him that there's no need to keep all this extra junk in the house if we're not using it. I've been telling myself to clean out this cabinet for months, and it finally took being in full nesting mode for me to get around to doing it. And with our next baby arriving very soon, I've been working hard on clearing out the extra clutter to make our environment just a little less stressful. We just emptied a big box of baby wipes, so it's time to declutter. With our next baby's arrival coming up so soon, I decided it would be a great time to focus on extra baby things I know we won't need. We have so much already, so I figured why not just let go of the things we can do without. Some of these are barely used, and some of them still have tags. We've been so fortunate, so it makes me happy to let these things go and give them to somebody else who could really use them. And life has been pretty crazy lately, so even though I haven't been able to declutter quite as often as I would like, the same rules still apply. One box in, one box out, whether it's diapers, wipes, groceries, or something you ordered online. When you're done with the box, simply fill it up with the clutter you're ready to let go of. Decluttering is not always easy. Sometimes it is actually really hard to let go of things. So if you're just getting started, remember to take it slow. Baby steps are still steps forward. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just do what you can and remember the end result is worth it. But that's all for this box. Make sure to stick around because there's a lot more diapers to come. We just got a pretty big order of coffee pods in from Nespresso, so rather than wasting a perfectly good box and sending it to recycling right away, I'll use it to declutter my house. Every decent-sized box that comes into our home must be used to declutter. It's a simple rule of one box in, one box out. And today I'm grabbing items around the house that we don't use or we simply don't want anymore. But that's all for this box. Make sure to stick around for the next one and more decluttering tips. We're downsizing some baby things we no longer need, so I'm giving this bassinet to one of my best friends who is expecting her first child. We hardly used it, so everything is practically brand new. And rather than let all of this sit in a closet never used, we might as well give it to somebody who needs it. And since we have all these extra diapers laying around because our baby grew so fast, I'm surprising my friend with these extras that hopefully she can put to good use. Baby girl will be here so soon, and this is the season of giving after all. My house is overwhelming me once again, so it's time to get back on my decluttering spree. We had to get a new food saver, so I'm using the box it came in to fill it with old items around the kitchen that we just don't need. I got this little Dutch oven in a FabFitFun box, and I never even used it, not even once. This old coffee cup came out of nowhere, and I definitely don't want it anymore. Random toys we don't need, random items that Amazon sent that was not what I ordered. And of course, the old vacuum sealer that we do not need anymore. The more full and cluttered your house is, the crazier your brain is going to feel. So when I feel like I'm spiraling because my house is out of control, that tells me it's time to get back to decluttering. In preparation for the holidays, we've been doing a lot of decluttering, so here is another box of things to get rid of. Your style can change over time, and we've redecorated several rooms over the last few years, so we're gradually getting rid of old decor and seasonal items that we just don't need anymore. I'm now 5 months postpartum, and I've noticed some of the depression and anxiety creeping back in, but it's not nearly as bad as it was my very first time around. And if there's anything that I've learned along this journey, it's that a calm house can help calm your mind. So that is what I'm doing. I'm working on calming my home by decluttering and clearing the things out that just don't make sense for me to keep. I know some of you are shocked that I'm still finding things to get rid of, and believe me, so am I. I guess I've just become too good at packing things away in storage, so now I just keep finding more and more and more stuff that I totally forgot about. Decluttering is a never-ending process, so stick around for more clutter. Well, would you look at that? This old shirt has definitely got to go. Welcome back to my decluttering journey. My name is Abbie, and I have a rule of 1 box in, 1 box out. We have 2 little ones wearing diapers and pull-ups, so those tend to be the most common boxes that we use. Whenever we have an empty box, we take the opportunity to go through old stuff and find things that we can get rid of that we just don't need anymore. We were going through storage to get ready for the holidays, and we found a bunch of old clothes that we're likely never going to wear again. So rather than wasting space and collecting dust in our home, they're on their way out to be donated. The holidays can be stressful enough, and when you have excess clutter in the home, that can make it so much worse. But even though the holidays are almost done, that's not going to stop us from decluttering as much as we can.